Welcome back to the sixth and final of the vlog series of domestic violence that we're going to cover through this whole 6-week series. All right, number 6. This is a big impact, and it is called the supporters gap. We're going to try and narrow what that gap is. So in having a great conversation with a group of people who were small business owners, I was sharing with them information about what a supporters toolkit is, what we do, what I try and teach people, and why it is so important. I was a little bit surprised for myself. This was good education information for me about how likely they were to still kind of, well, we can see what the problems are, but I don't know if we can really help. Okay, let's check this out. So there's actually 6 top reasons why there is a supporters gap, why supporters can't or won't or don't feel like they can. So number 1 is that they're just too scared to get involved. And that's understandable because threats and you see the damage that's happening to your friend or your coworker and you're like, yeah, I'm not getting involved with that. I totally get it. Yeah, it is scared. It is terrifying to get involved. The second one is, I don't know what to say. What if I say the wrong things? What if I tell her this and then she does it and it's wrong? And what if? Yeah, I'm not a counselor, so I don't know what to do. The third, I am not trained in anything. Again, it kind of piggybacks onto that. I just don't know what to do. I'm not trained to know how to really help them. The fourth, I'm not qualified. Nope. I'm too busy. I'm too this. Make a list. I'm not qualified. I can't. The fifth is kind of interesting because, frankly, I just don't want to get in the mess. Nope, I'm just going to sidestep over that. So there's a big boulder in my way. Well, I'm just going to go around it because I'm not going to deal with that. Nope, I don't want the mess. Hands up, I don't want the mess. The sixth and the final one is, again, similar to what we've been talking to, this thread through the entire thing. It's not really my problem anyway. I mean, I don't really know of anyone. Okay. That's a big gap to kind of try and narrow down. I'm not going to give all the answers here because in my strategy sessions, that's where we give the majority of the answers. But I will talk about a few things here. All right. You're scared. You don't know what to do. You're not a counselor. Well, there's 3 things we can talk about. First of all, the victim is going to stay pretty guarded because they don't want to, especially like if you're talking about work situations, they're going to have their head down and just go. They are not going to lose that job because that job is a lifeline to a normalcy. It's a lifeline to, an income, something that if eventually they decide that they want to escape, they at least have something to do and to live and to get beyond, right? So this idea that it's going to be such a challenge, well, for the most part, victims are protecting themselves and they're not going to just openly share. So it goes on to the second thing that we need to be doing, which is building trust. How do you build trust with someone? What do you do? Well, you start by communicating, hi, saying nice things, being civil, just being kind. That's the first step in building trust. And trust building takes some time. Other times, it can be really fast. But the point is, the building of trust is so that if they ever ask you anything, if they ever call, what if they just break down in front of you? You can have some trust there. It's called humanity, loving each other, the golden rule. Yeah, that. Okay, so second, build trust. This next part is this whole concept of this. One of my favorite signs, choices, options. Okay? Someone who is a victim, and whether you know it or you don't know it, anyone loves choices. We like the opportunity to decide and not be forced into things, right? So, if you do know that someone is being abused, a good friend of mine, Lisa McAdams, we had a great conversation once on the phone, and she shared a story about someone who was helping her, and that person started off fine in the support and help, and they were building trust together. But suddenly it started to shift. And I don't know if you remember on the what is a supporter's IQ, the Know Your Supporter's IQ, do you know it? Towards the end there, I think it's the last question, it talks about if you've given advice, if you've offered resources, if you've done anything to try and help, and the victim decides to kind of change or do something different than you were thinking, are you okay with that and can accept that? Well, you should be, because then that means they have choices and options. There's nothing just worse than being a victim and having no choice at home because someone's controlling the situation there, physically, financially, mentally, emotionally, socially. And then arriving to a place of work where you're trying to do things and trying to, provide an income and so on and so forth, that suddenly the choices that you had there start to change and shift and you are forced into things. Because, I read this thing, or you have to go to this shelter, or I saw this thing on a blog. And doing it like forcefully where you're coming back. So did you call? So did you check? No. Now, offering a resource is fine. If they decide to crumple it up, shred it in your face, and throw it in the trash, no biggie. Here's the key on all of these. It's not about you. And I'm pointing. It's not about you. It's about the victim. If you are a supporter, it's all about them. They need choices. They need to help build the trust. That is so important. Okay? I won't go any deeper because we talk about it in the Supporters Toolkit. So on the 6 things that, I'm afraid, I'm not a counselor, I'm not trained for this, I'm not qualified, I don't want to get in the mess, and, it's not really my problem, I don't really know anybody. Those 6 things, well, those 3 are things that you can do. You can help to break down those walls because they're going to be guarded. You can help build trust. And finally, give choices, right? Simple things. And you don't even have to be talking about domestic violence. Like giving choices of, hey, where do you want to go to lunch today? They may never get that choice. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe just doing something funny or silly. Making them laugh. Because I can tell you, at home, there's not a lot of laughing going on. And it has taken me, myself, as somebody that's gone through all of this, years to learn how to find joy in living. And to give myself permission to laugh. So, there are different ways to be a supporter. They don't always have to be so shockingly serious. Sometimes it's that smile. It's the comedian that kind of helps. It's that. Does that kind of open up your mind a little bit more? And by opening your mind, you are narrowing that gap. I know you can do this. So thank you so much for joining me on this 6-part series on being a supporter, Supporters Toolkit, all the things that we've talked about in these strategy sessions. You guys can do it. I know you can. There's people out there depending on all of us. So we'll see you later.